They are very aggressive.
Just so you know.
Yes. Perfect. Let's do it.
As moms, this is what we do. Last little touch up, girl. Do I have some food on my? Okay. We're good. We're good. Okay. Hello, everybody. It is Verna with the Real Life Group at Keller Williams Southwest. I am excited to be back in front of the camera. Did y'all miss me? I missed me. No. But with another episode of Real Life, Real Talk, where we're having real conversations with people throughout the greater Houston area. And of course, it can go beyond, right? Showing you behind the scenes what goes on. And today, it's more so for our mommies, right? I'm a mother. I have a special guest with me. She's a mother as well. And both of us have been on a journey of building our business and kind of met paths again, right? We had we've known each other for quite some time. And even back then, my special guest, who I'll introduce in just a second, was very innovative, very into helping, very into seeing things in a very organized fashion and being able to create calmness in a storm. And what greater storm than being a mama trying to grow a business. And I don't know about you guys. For you, it might be just simply that, you're a mom, you started a business, you want this business to thrive, and you're looking forward to it. And so you might outsource some different things like caring for your kids, right? You may outsource the cooking of food, right? I should have outsourced that one. Like, I literally just took my apron off. And we made it very simple. It was spaghetti. So you may outsource the cooking of the food. You might outsource the washing of the clothes, the cleaning of the house. Or you might just kind of be like me, right? And I firmly believe in keeping things in order. Not to say your order is off. For me, this is my order, right? Keeping things in order where it's God first, family next, then business. So the first thing I'm going to outsource are elements of that business. And goodness, it's a mess. So recognizing my mess in a very good way, very pleasant, understanding, reaching out, was Nikki Harrison, who is our special guest of Thrive Business Support. And so I'll let her introduce herself and then we'll kind of jump right in. But just so y'all know, the whole purpose of this is just, again, we're just pulling back the veil. And I know some of y'all, it's the top of the season for you. You've been making your plans, or maybe you haven't made your plans, and you're trying to figure out, as the kids arrive, as you're trying to cook food, as you're answering all the calls and having Zoom, which, by the way, my children, even though they're old enough to know better, might still come through, right? How are you going to do that? So, Nikki, go ahead and tell the viewers out there who you are. By all means, everybody, post your comments, your questions. If you have anything after our introductions and as we get into it, just let us know. We'll put it out there and try to address as much as possible. Go ahead.
So, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate you having me on your series. I am a viewer, so I'm like, oh, I get to be on now. So as Miss V said, I call her Miss V affectionately. So if you know her differently, just roll with me. As Miss V said, my name is Nikki. I'm an online business manager, founder and owner of Thrive Business Support. I'm a Houston, Texas native, and I'm just super passionate about supporting mompreneurs as they live their God-given assignment and their wildest dreams. It takes a village, not just to raise the children, but also to raise ourselves. And so some of these assignments are lofty. God never intended for us to do them alone. In walks Nikki. I can be the extra set of hands and heart and brain to help you get it done.
Absolutely, absolutely. So welcome to the Real Life Real Talk mini podcast here. And thank you so much for kind of explaining. But for those people who don't know, right? We have this virtual culture, and we kind of all have been thrown into this virtual culture with what's going on in our world so far. And so we toss around things like virtual assistant, transaction manager, especially inside the real estate world, right? Uh, I guess inside sales associates, so ISAs, and these virtual terms have been coming up a little bit more. What in the world? Because this was one of the first times I'd ever heard of this term, right? What in the world is an online business manager? And how is that different than other elements or other positions or other services out there in the virtual world? Specifically, virtual assistants.
I'm so glad you asked. I really, really genuinely am, because although the field has grown exponentially in 2020 specifically, where everybody was sort of forced on Zoom, the industry is still fairly new to the business owners who need it the most. And so there are a lot of terms that are thrown around that only those in the industry know how to decipher almost. So I'm glad that you asked. Most people are familiar with the term virtual assistant. Mm-hmm. Virtual assistant, I would say, is more of a doer. They come into your business and you already have a plan laid out. You already have a task list. You already know what things you want to outsource. And a virtual assistant is what we call a doer. And I'm referring to my industry. I mean, the service-based industry, the done-for-you industry. A virtual assistant is that one to come in, hands mostly. They're doing the things you need done. In between that even is like a project manager who might come in and help you on like a specialized project in your business. So not the whole aspect of your business, but a specialized project. And they're more, they come in as a strategic partner, helping you to think through what steps should be taken, as well as taking some of the actual steps that you all come up with.
I'm in business and things are going all around me, and I'm looking at it like I need all that plus a bag of chips, a soda, and I'm hoping to walk away with a Coke and a smile. Like, chaos.
Well, that's where the online business manager actually comes in. An online business manager, although the term is varied and there are many definitions, because there are specialties that you can have. You can specialize in only launches or only real estate or only what have you. But a blanket statement is the online business manager is a combination of a virtual assistant. So we're going to do a little bit. We're going to be hands-on. A project manager, we're going to help you think through some things really as a strategic partner. And then as you build your team, we can come in and manage that team, making sure everybody has what they need to get what they need to get done, including you, right? Including the visionary, the business owner, the founder. We're making sure that you're staying in your zone of genius, in the thing that you do well, the thing you do best, and we're fielding all the other things. Because as you know, the thing you do best, maybe you sell people homes, you help them buy homes, you help them invest in homes, but there's so much more that has to also be done.
Absolutely.
We're gonna do it.
And until you walk in our shoes, you're always going to take that for granted, right? So speaking of being the visionary, how did this even come about? How did you get started in this? Like, who are you? Well, why did you say, all those things that people don't want to do, I can help them strategize that and then get it done. Like, who? I'm not raising my hand.
Right.
How did you get there?
So that brings us to the quirky side of me. So I am a little weird, right? I am a little bit attracted to the things that people are like, oh my gosh, why would you spend any time doing that? I run away from that as fast as I can. It was a combination of taking my natural abilities, my gifts and talents that I've noticed since we become self-aware. I like to organize. Once I hear an idea, I immediately start to plan out in my mind the logistics of it. okay, what tools do we need? How do we get those tools? What are the costs associated? And how are we going to organize this to get it done? That's just my natural way of doing things. In my free time to relax, I might just think of a scenario and then plan out all the steps just for fun.
Yeah, I like to just think of the scenario and then how big it can get from there, right? Just for fun.
The dreamer. The dreamer. Yes, people like me happen to work the dreamer is my favorite type of person. And I take it away from dreamer into being visionary, so that people can really understand what I mean. You guys aren't just dreaming, it's dreams with action, right? But you guys are able, it's a gift. It's a gift from God to have the faith to believe this big, right? And sometimes the vision gets so big, you don't have time to think of like, okay, step one, step two. You're like, but I just know it's going to happen. I'm the one that comes in and goes, okay, but this is how. Here's how we're going to do this. Let's plan out those steps. Let's get those things nailed down. It's just a part of my personality. I think we're all given gifts and talents, and they're meant to sort of interlock and work with each other. And I just so happen to be a person who has always, oh, so sweet. I've always loved organizing everything. It never went away. So I was like, okay, let this gift make room for me. Why I specifically chose moms specifically on this path is because I became a mom. And the way I used to serve.
See, before you're just like, these people, why do they keep making these excuses about what and their kids are doing this? And then you had one, and you were like, oh, okay. And then the second one came. And you were like, I see
no.
I always see an area in which I just
no.
It wasn't.
I always gave grace. I always understood, like, no, it's not an excuse. We are giving different gifts and talents. Some people are meant to when all of my friends were single, I was still the person that, if we go to my friends are very creative, very artistic. They always have been. I've always surrounded myself with those type of people. The dreamers, the visionaries have always been in that circle. I'm the one that, they'll arrive to the photo shoot and, oh, I need a bobby pin before they say, I've got it. Here it goes. I need a pin. Oh, here's the pin. Oh, I didn't think of how people are going to sign up. I got a sheet. Here's a PDF. They can do it digitally or manually. I've just always been that person. But when I became a mom, the way that I was able to show up, which was right in the nick of time, I always had what the person needed. It was beck and call type of service, really hands-on. I was no longer able to do that, despite my best efforts and my deepest desires. And I'm like, well, what has changed so drastically? That's a separate subject, right? Because motherhood changes you in every way. But I was like, well, what has changed? So everywhere. Yes. But I was questioning myself, well, what has changed so drastically about my assignment? Because I wasn't doing this just as a fun thing. I believe I was called to support the visionary. And so I'm like, well, God, am I not able to support that visionary anymore? Yeah. And I think he revealed to me, he showed me, no, I'm just moving you to a different segment of visionary. Now I'm going to niche that thing down. It's going to be moms specifically, and you're going to know innately what they need because it's the same type of support you yourself need.
And, it's funny that you say that because I think as moms, we get to, and if you haven't yet, you will probably get to this time where you're starting to question your vision. Right? Because you're looking at it and it almost seems so impossible to get done. And not just get done, but get done and still remain you.
Remain sane.
Through. And for your kids to still be alive, you choke them yet. I don't condone choking. Feeding, yes, but no. They're healthy. Yeah. They're thriving themselves, and you're just wondering how am I going to get this done? And you have to come to a point where you actually start reflecting. I remember one time, just as a mom, and I don't even think I had my business. No, I had my business going, but I was also still in education. For those of you who know me, And the first child, it was cool. He was very obedient. He kept things going. That second one from conception, like he had me pregnant, right? And so now here she is, and I'm wondering, how am I going to be this wife, be this mother, be this business owner, be this professional in education, and wear all these hats? And I remember taking that to my mom, and one of the things that she said, because I was like, look, the Proverbs 31 woman, she did this. We constantly compare ourselves to that lady as something to strive to. And my mom simply just laughed at me, and I was just like, I get you got 5, but you ain't got to laugh, right? Yeah. And she simply just said, did you read that right? Like, that chick, though my mom didn't say that, her nice little Nigerian accent, that lady had help.
Yep.
She had help. Like, one of her things to do was to organize her day, get her people set up, and then give them tasks to do. Like, she had help. And so she was managing for her. Her business was her household, as well as she had a real estate career, real estate investment career.
Linens.
Right, linens, right? The seamstress, tailor, all that other good stuff, the exporter. And she had help, and she understood where she wanted to leverage out that business. And so we see this several times inside of scripture, right? Let's take it away from the woman. Let's just look at just business people or people who are called to lead and have this vision that they're walking out. Moses, in Exodus 18, here his father-in-law comes in and is looking at him like, you crazy. Like, you nor the people who you serve are going to get the best out of this. Like, you guys are going to wear yourself out. And that's something we have to consider when we are not leveraging and focusing on the things that matter the most. 20%, right? As opposed to that 80%. 20% that's going to make the difference.
Yep.
When we're not, as the visionary or as the leader, focusing on that 20%, everybody else will suffer, including ourselves, because the mission portion is in the 20%, right? Vision portion is in that 20%. The walking out stuff is in that 80%, and that's where we need that support to come in, because that 80% is still important for this whole thing to come through, right? But how do we go about doing that? You see that even in with the disciples in Acts 2, right? The disciples are here and they're going out, they've got their marching orders, they're doing what they're supposed to do. And then someone's like, wait a minute now, everybody's not even being served. So we need to figure out a different approach. For those of you who are, not as essential, you go handle this. We're going to focus on our 20%. And so that 80-20 principle, that Pareto's principle, really comes into effect as a business leader. You have to be very clear as to your 20%. What is that vision? What is that mission? And how do you walk it forward? So my question to you is, so twofold, right? Oh, and Faustino, as I call him, he said 100, and then thank you, and then I think that's TW now. Keep the positive vibe rocking. So thank you so much for participating. We want to thank everybody who has hopped on and is participating. If by all means any questions, ask those questions. But I want to go back into how you walk this thing, Nikki. How do you end up, I guess, managing your world? How do you walk out your vision? And then let's even go in and talk about, because I keep saying vision, I keep saying mission.
Yes.
What are those two things? Some of y'all have started your plans and you have this vision and this mission. These things just kind of go together and you haven't really identified them, because like I said, that's where your 20% actually live, right? You haven't adequately identified them. How else can you delegate the 80? You don't even know what the 80 is, right? That 80% is. So first and foremost, how do you go ahead and manage while you're supporting this, because you do have a business? And then second of it, let's walk through vision and mission. I want some actionable items, because me, that teacher, that educator in me wants you to be able to apply this to your life. So the first step is let's get clear on our vision, right? And then the second part is let's understand what the mission that's attached to that vision is. And then now, how do we go about walking it out? And who do you need on your team? What tools do you need to support that team? And further on, that may be, because this is only 30 minutes, right? That might be in a different episode, but at least let's start the conversation.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So you had asked, how do I manage personally? So I manage by drinking my own Kool-Aid. And what I mean by that is, right?
You paused so hard, I thought that you were going to say you manage by drinking. I was like, wait, this is not where, this is not, no, this is not where.
No, not at all. It's a whole different kind of show, right?
This is no, I'm just playing.
No, I get my strength from prayer.
Look, there's some mommies on the side that have lifted their glass and said, "How I made."
I love it. Self-care is important. However you find that self-care, do it responsibly. And I mean, yeah. But the way that I happen to manage personally is by, I'll say it another way, practicing what I preach. So I preach that it takes a village. It takes support, a supportive team, really building your supportive team. And so that's what I do. I lean on my partner, my husband, who is so fantastic. And we're able to spread the workload, right? Our joint missions, we're able to spread them. I'm actually adding a new member to my team here in the first quarter, my own virtual assistant, right? Because I'm an online business manager with her own business. I need a virtual assistant as well. And so parsing out that 80% is really important as well. So I start my quarters, my months by figuring out or by revisiting my vision. What is the vision that God gave me? What am I doing? What's the overarching deal? And just to define vision's going to be the long-term outcome that will be true once your series of missions is accomplished.
I like that.
This long-term vision, it's going to become realized once your series of missions is accomplished. So what then is a mission? Awesome, Melissa. I'll answer your question in just a second. Oh, this is so sweet to me, you guys, that you guys are asking questions. That's amazing to me. But a mission is a series of short-term goals that will add up to equal the realization of your vision. So in plain terms, your vision is the overarching assignment that you feel like God gave you. Mine specifically, it's to support mompreneurs through administrative online business, right? I'm handling your back end, the files that you need filed, the documents that you need typed. I need to be in your inbox. Those things that you need to do, I'm able to handle those and be that support for you.
As I've witnessed and seen, is just creating systems and operating procedures that your team members, as you continue to grow, bring on board, right? So that's the strategic portion that requires more than just doing, right?
For sure. First, everything starts with a mindset and an idea, right? So we have to know what we're doing before we start doing. So sometimes I find a lot of the visionaries, it's difficult in the doing. It's hard to be a visionary. It's hard to keep the vision vibrant because you're busy and bogged down with the doing, with the doing of the tasks. And so sometimes all you need is a partner to come alongside you and go, wait, let's figure out what that vision is and what steps we need to put in place. And so I do the same thing myself.
This is Melissa's question, because she was saying, how do you keep steady and motivated and organized? How do you actually keep that vision dear to you and in front of you so you continue moving forward to it? I'm assuming Melissa, that's what you.
Yes, which is a great and wonderful question. Yeah. The way that I stay, it's really important to know your why. So how do you keep the vision? You revisit it often. Go back often and look at it. How are you going to do that? You need to have it written down, right? We write the vision, we make it plain. So write it down somewhere. That can be digital. That can be on a sheet of notebook paper that you later frame and hang it somewhere prominent. That can be on a sticky tab that you put on your bathroom mirror, somewhere that you're going to see it often. You want to write down the vision, right? That means you have to get clear on what it is.
Absolutely. So I started off, I would even encourage people to write it down and have it where you can take it with you, because I started off writing it down and potentially framing it. I put it on, my computer, my actual computer. Now, not only do I have my vision, but even the specific portions of the mission, it's on my phone in my notes. So whenever I need a woosah moment, like, what the heck am I doing with these? We just, simply scroll up.
I love it.
I love it the way my brother puts it when it comes to a vision he's had for his family. He says he's visiting his future. Right?
Brother?
Yes.
It is true.
There are times, sweetheart, you're trying to take me to the past. I need to visit my future. That's right. Vision is something that's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to visit that often to keep it true and dear and keep you motivated so that hope is still there.
Yes.
So Melissa was like,
good, Melissa. I would also add that in addition to keeping it in front of you, and Ms. V was absolutely right. I like to frame it, but I take a picture of the frame so I can have it on my phone. I visit it often, take it everywhere. With all the t-shirt companies out there, you can absolutely turn it into a phrase and put it on a shirt. And you can even wear that. You can put it on a bracelet, literally anywhere, as much as you can, as often as you can. Revisit that vision. Go back to God in prayer about it and say, is anything changed, Lord? Do you want me to move a different way? Do I need to pivot? Always keep checking in to the one who gave you the vision. If you've gotten your vision from the Lord, always check in with him, because he can remind you. And then I found the best motivation, a caveat to Melissa's question, was how do you stay motivated? With wins. As you make progress through the process, it is very motivating. You're like, I actually can do this. Okay, I'm checking that off of my list and that off of my list. So as you revisit your vision often, break it down into manageable steps that you can then complete. And when you go, man, I just can't do this, you can revisit and go, well, no, I've taken step 1 and step 2 and step 3. I can do step 4. Okay, I think I can do that. I find that so motivating for me.
So true. They even wrote a song about it, like the hair go. All I do, win, right? No matter what.
You are so silly.
Y'all know I'm chatting. So once I'm stealing another piece of wisdom, right? This brother has a lot of sagacity, right? So wise. He's probably going to comment there before, but we just don't leave him alone. But anyways, another little nugget he told me kind of simplified success. We picture success to be something that's so grand, and being successful to being so grand. But if you just pull apart that word, successful just means that you are full of success. Well, what is success? Success is starting out to do something and completing it, right? Regardless of if it's negative, you started off to do something wrong, and you completed that wrong action. Success. You start off, I'm hoping you're leaning towards the good success, right? So starting off to do something right and do something good, and then you have success. Well, once you have several of episodes of success, then you become successful, and that does add wind to your sail, right? To your mission to keep going. So very true, very true. I've seen that. Tamika said, that's so good, visiting my future, 100. Yeah. I have to hold on to that now. When I'm looking at that house that I want, I'm visiting my future. When I'm looking at my children being the certain way under God, I'm visiting my future. When I'm thinking about real life, which this so falls into real life for me, Y'all may not know the story behind real life and the whole business on real life. It's really living very intentional in and on God's purpose for your life. So many of us feel like we're lost, or we feel like we're just kind of like the Walking Dead, sucking life out of other people, right? Because we're not fulfilled. We're not walking in our own purpose. And so part of what you're explaining and having your business thrive and starting that and understanding that vision and that mission is about living in and on purpose. And like you said, this is the one who created you for that purpose.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Good to hear. Well, I want to add just a little bit to the end. We've talked a little bit about mission, talked a little bit about vision. All of those things are good and great and necessary. You need your vision. You need to know the overall thing you're doing. You need to break it down into manageable steps that might take, one might take a year, one might take 6 months, one might take 3 years, whatever manageable steps you need to break it down into. And then what? Well, then you got to walk it out. Like Ms. B said earlier, it's time to get to doing, right? And so you don't want to look at the vision and go, well, this is too big. I can't do it. The mission, well, like, it's going to be so much work. When you get down to the next step, which is the action steps. Mm-hmm. What do I need to do today to eventually get to where I want to get in the future? What do I need to do today? What do I need to do this week? What do I need to do this month? And what do I need to do this quarter? And guaranteed, as you take steps forward consistently, which Ms. V also mentioned, it's about the doing it consistently. As you take steps forward, you will make progress. That's just, regular logic there. If you move forward, you're going to start at one point and end at a further point along.
What advice do you have for mothers? And I know I'm guilty of this, right? We see that and we are looking to take those steps. And so, but then we make it seem like landing on the moon, one giant step for mankind, right? And so now we're making this task or this manageable step that you're saying, this mission so large that you get paralyzed and you don't even move. You're just like, I don't even have the time to do an hour worth of, or 3 hours worth of editing, or, whatever it is that's on your plate. What advice do you have for that mother?
So the advice I have for that mother is me. I am she is me. the mother that can blow this thing up into something that is too big for me. I would say to that mother, keep it simple, sweetie. Keep it simple.
Change that last S.
Yes, because I am very sweet. I'm a lot of things, but not stupid. So we want to speak kindly to ourselves. That's another episode. Speak kindly to yourself. Speak truth to yourself. If you're not stupid, never call yourself stupid. At any rate, I remind myself to keep it simple, and I do that by setting goals that are actually realistic. My action steps shouldn't be, I'm going to create, 18 new products this month. Well, am I? Am I really? Well, what are my kids going to look like at the end of that? What am I going to look like at the end of that? Maybe I'm not going to create 18, but maybe I am going to create 2. Yeah. And that's something that's manageable that I can do. Okay, now I'm going to spend 20 minutes every day or every week, whatever my sweet spot is. If it's 20 minutes for me, if it's 30 minutes of uninterrupted time where I can put my brain on just the one thing, no multitasking, right? And that, moms, we know. No multitasking. Oh no, my hands are always in multiple things at once.
When you multitask, you're actually less productive than focusing
on so much.
Yeah, and focusing on one. And we take for granted the power of a minute, right? So you're saying 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I recently, not tweeted out, because I don't tweet, but texted out to folks that I work with. And one of the messages there was, I've been so busy, right? Building this team. I actually am honored to be in a new position as well. And my closet, right? You just come home, you just take stuff off, you put it there, and I'm just like, I'm going to get to that. And like, it was like an avalanche. The clothes just continued to compile upon clothes, and I just was getting sick of it. Now it was coming out the closet, Not that there was a trail, but now I started a new pot, right? And I was like, you know what? This is ridiculous. Because I keep telling to myself, the time it takes for me to actually get those things, it's better when you don't even get into it. But now we're in it, right?
Yeah.
The time is going to take me to get, I don't have that time. But what I do have is 15 minutes. So I gave myself a closet fix 15-minute mandate. Whatever you can get done in those 15 minutes is what you got, is what you get done. And you'd be so surprised how much can actually get done when you're focused done in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And so hashtag progress, girl, my closet, like I made room for more, so it's time to go shopping.
Well, I don't know about that. I was gonna say I'm proud of you, but then you added that. But what you said is so important, the mandate, right? So I give myself mandates. I set goals for myself. I set little speed bumps for myself. So I agree with you. The goal is not to get there at all. If I put 15 minutes on it, if I put 2 minutes on it, at the end of the day, I take these clothes off. They go in the hamper. On Saturday, they get washed. They get dried. They get hung. Not in the hamper. We know how we do. And the hamper for a month, and you're living out of the hamper until they're dirty again. No. If I take the time in the moment to put that up,
that's it.
It takes way less time. But we are living real life and we are living mom life. It doesn't always go as planned, right? The importance is to have a plan. So if you get to the point where it is a little bit of a pile, giving yourself a mandate, giving yourself going, I'm going to spend 15 minutes and nothing else is going to get my time. I'm going to let these kiddos, they'll be fine in 15 minutes. Even if they have to sit next to you on the side of the pile and just, mommy's going to do this for 15 minutes. You're going to wait right there. Just setting those priorities. Something that I've been thinking of for a while is setting appointments with myself and then keeping those appointments.
Yes.
With other people, and I would not miss them for anything. It would have to be an emergency, right? For me to miss those things. But appointments with myself, oh, it's so flippant. Oh, I'll get to it later. No. Set appointments with yourself. You are important enough. Your assignment is important enough. Those you are called to serve are important enough for you to keep the appointments that you make to yourself.
Absolutely. And I'll kind of wrap up with this and then ask you a wrap up question. Yes. But that's so important. And I've been guilty of that. And sometimes I'm guilty of that. But it reminds me, and I had to learn this lesson. And it was through scripture, right? That how can I love my neighbor as myself if I'm not loving myself? So with that scripture, there was criteria. Right? And you had to meet the first criteria to move on to the next. And so I can't sit here and honor the time given to someone else when I'm not honoring the time that I've given to myself, because growth occurs in that time frame, right? And if I'm going to love my neighbor, I have to know how to love myself. And so those appointments for yourself, Nicole Jones says priorities, that part, right? And Melissa said, hey, girl. And Tamika said, amen. Thank you, Mama, for joining. And so here's my wrap-up question, because I know I want to keep to the time that was honored here, and ask you this. If we have some mompreneurs out there, you see them, they're raising their hand, they're talking, they're asking these questions, right? If they are struggling with creating their vision, and then understanding manageable part for it to be their mission, what support can you provide them? And for sure, I already know that when it comes down to actually those action steps, it's there. It's hard for you to step in and help, right, and get the delegated work when they're unclear as to where they're even going, what their purpose is, and then how to get there. So what support can you give them? What do you have to offer them? And we'll take a couple more questions, then we'll be signing off.
That is perfect. So that's how I said it too. All right, Nicole. Exactly where you just mentioned at the starting point, that is where my support starts. That's what sets me apart from a virtual assistant. As an online business manager, I'm able to come into your business and just have a conversation with you and become a strategic partner with you, going, what is our vision? I can help you break it down. Sometimes all you need is conversation. Sometimes all you need is for it to go out of your own head into another person, the back and forth. The questions I will ask will help guide you and help you become clearer on, okay, this is my mission. This is the actual mission that I'm trying to go down. And then we will, I'll come in and help you build an actual plan. Okay, here's your mission. Let's break it down into these 5 steps that are going to take 6 months, right? And let's break those 5 steps, which becomes our mission, down into, each step takes 10 things we need to do, then I'm able to help you. I'm able to write that out for you so you can have it in black and white. And then I'm able to also provide accountability, because that's also something that we often need, especially as mompreneurs. Life can kind of get away from you. And it's hard if you don't have somebody who is knowledgeable and also caring to kind of go, hey, let's get back on track. And so that's really the way that I can come in and support. It starts with that conversation so we can get clear on your vision, and then let's plan out the plan. And then I'll be your hands on deck, your brain on deck, your heart on deck, helping you actually do the steps of the plan as we've laid them out. Right. And then so let me rewind all the way. The very first step is giving yourself grace. You are a mom, you have so many priorities, and you've only been wearing all of the hats because you thought you had to.
Right.
Give yourself that grace. And once we give ourselves that grace, now let's tell ourselves the whole truth. You do not have to wear all the hats. You are not supposed to wear all the hats. There are other professionals out there who are called to an assignment to wear a hat that you're taking up in your business.
Absolutely. So what I heard you say is basically you do help, once people apply grace into their situation, you help self-discover what their vision is, and set it out into a mission, and then some actionable steps, and then you come walk alongside of them. Yep. So if you're out there and you are struggling with this, or you're just curious to look a little bit more, right? Where can they find you?
Great question. So I'm on Instagram and on Facebook at Thrive Business Support on both platforms. And you can find all my information there on both platforms. Also, I'll be coming out this week with some templates, right? Just to get us started, to get it kind of working in our mind of like, oh, it sounds so intimidating what she's talking about, creating my vision. It's not. We can do a 1-page template to kind of get your mind started about it. And then I'll also have the information. If you go to my Instagram at Thrive Business Support, you can find the link to talk to me. If this was informative to you, if it resonated, let's hop on a 15-minute call for free. For free. Let's hop on a call and talk about your specific business and your specific challenges. And let's see if we can't get a plan started.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Nikki.
Thank you.
Guys, go out there and support this mompreneur and help her support you as a mompreneur. This is Verna with the Real Life Group. You guys, thank you so much for joining us for Real Life Real Talk. And you can find my information also on my Facebook page, Real Life HTX Living, or you can give me a call at 281-658-7012. If you would like to be featured on this Real Life Real Talk podcast, because we're talking about real life situations, real problems, real solutions, real people, especially real women, right? I got to talk to my sisters here. Let me know. We'll get you featured on this. See y'all later.
Perfect.
Oh, you ladies did a wonderful job. So excited to hear the next live. Okay, Melissa.
Oh, thank you, Melissa.
No, I'm just okay. Bye, y'all.